And welcome back. We're round 4, and this is Tyler on the right versus Matt on the left. We also fortunately have Tyler's deck list in front of us, which is nice. Matt's playing Zoo, and Tyler is playing blue, white, red, mid-range.
It's a mid-range control list. It's a deck that has been pretty popular, and because it plays blue, it has gained a lot of strength from Dig Through Time. So Khans of Tarkir really had an effect on the Eternal formats.
Which is really good to see, actually, with Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time. I personally hope they don't ban Treasure Cruise, if we're just quickly looking at that argument. I like to think that there's other ways around it, such as Chalice of the Void.
Well, the interesting thing about Treasure Cruise is the fact that it's just made Tarmogoyf a weaker card. So if Treasure Cruise gets banned, Tarmogoyf will see more play again.
Well, certainly hasn't reduced Tarmogoyf's cost. Still sitting at around $200, unfortunately.
No, but I do believe that if Treasure Cruise remains unbanned, then Tarmogoyf will gradually dip over time.
I certainly would.
Not a large dip.
Yeah.
But you could save a good $10 or $20 the card maybe in the future.
Now Matt's come out with a Fleecemane Lion, which has been bolted very quickly by Tyler.
Yeah. I believe between these two decks, we've got a good idea of what is being played, because the Zoo deck actually belongs to you, doesn't it?
It does.
And we've got Tyler's list right in front of us.
So, knowing both lists, Lewis, what do you think is the favourite? Who's the favourite for Game 1 here?
For Game 1? Look, I think it can really depend on the draw, on the draw that each player has. Look, Tyler's definitely got plenty of removal. Like, I'm looking through his spells. He's got 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Lightning Helix, 4 Path to Exile. He's got Remand to slow the game down a bit, although I pictured him sideboarding some of those cards out for Game 2. He's got 2 Electrolyze, which isn't as good because a lot of the creatures in the Zoo deck have 2 or more toughness, but it can kill a 2/2 and draw Tyler a card, so...
Can certainly take out the Figure of Destiny.
And he's got 4 Snapcaster Mage to repeat some of the removal. Restoration Angel is pseudo removal. If he, he's not on the play, but if he was on the play, he would even get an aggressive start with something like Geist of St. Traft. Even Vendilion clicks a pseudo removal spell.
So we've Matt coming out with the Vexing Devil here. And Tyler can choose to take 4 damage, depending on, of course, what he's got in his hand. But Tyler decides, no, we'll just let that be in play. And that's a Lightning Helix to deal with that. Tyler goes up to 21 using the dice, good man. Got the 1 little extra on top of the large 20-sided dice there. And he just passes the turn back. Yeah. Now, has Tyler missed a land drop there?
Looks like he has.
So that could, if Matt realises that could certainly work in Matt's favour.
Now, I feel like the reason why... Because I noticed it was very interesting that Tyler let the Vexing Devil stay on the battlefield and then use a removal spell on it. I feel like Tyler's hands is full of removal. He's got a lot of cheap spells in his hand, and possibly maybe one of his Dig Through Times. I think normally, obviously depends on the situation, but early game you get rid of the first Vexing Devil as soon as it comes out.
Yep, just by paying the life.
Yeah, and so you can use your removal spells on things you can't easily get rid of. But I feel like Tyler's got a lot of card advantage in his hand. He's got a lot of cheap removal.
And with the Snapcaster Mage, you can certainly bring back the Lightning Bolt for additional removal now that he's got 3 land. I think this is the Snapcaster Mage that he's just played as well.
Is he just doing it in the end step? I think, all Matt did was just play a land and then pass, didn't he? So Tyler's sensing that Matt doesn't have much going on in his hand, because a zoo deck you really want to be playing spells, playing creatures and attacking with them if you don't have creatures out. So Tyler's he's getting aggressive and played a Snapcaster Mage, bolt to the face.
Now I saw the bolt in Matt's hand. He's also got a Lightning Helix and I believe a Flames to the Blood hand. With those three in hand, do you just look at trying to burn Tyler out?
Well, that is 10 damage. Those three cards you just described. I think it really depends, because that only puts Tyler on 9, but I think it's good to It looks like he is doing that, actually. Is he burning right in the face? Yep.
If he's doing that, it was just a strange move to me earlier, burning the Snapcaster Mage rather than going straight to the face with that Lightning Bolt as well.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what he's getting out of doing the Lightning Helix to the face here, if he's already committed to using his Bolt on a creature.
And that certainly is drawing a lot of land, which is not what he wants. In fact, I think it's a Lightning Bolt and 2 Flames to the Blood hand.
Okay.
In his hand. So you're looking at 11 damage there.
I think we might see an end step Flames at the end of Tyler's turn.
That being the case, you really want to stop. If you are trying to burn him out, you want to try and stop those recurring Lightning Helixes via any Snapcaster Mages.
Yeah.
Stop Tyler from gaining life. Tyler's now up to 4 lands, so he can start putting out things like Geists and Restoration Angels with a little more confidence. And here's the Snapcaster Mage.
Alright, let's see what he targets with that. Is he targeting... Did he point at the bolt? No, he pointed at his Lightning Helix. And it looks like Matt's just let it resolve. I think he played Flames there. He's bolting. He's decided to go for the creature.
Yeah. I certainly would have thrown off a Flames then anyway.
Yeah, that's our damage right to the face.
Yep. Stops him from gaining 3 and deals him 4. So you're looking at, rather than being on 18, you're looking at him being on 11, which is much more manageable.
I feel like with the amount of removal Tyler's likely to have, that's a pretty good game strategy, just to try and point it at his face and save the Flames for the Lightning Helix.
Now, what have we got here?
That's a dig through time. I did predict that was probably in his hand a few turns ago, so this adds credibility to my prediction. But he could have just recently drawn it as well, knowing he has it in his deck.
Looking at top 7, and if you're Tyler, what are you really looking for here? Are you just looking for more removal to get rid of those creatures? Because you're on 18 life, so but you're not really worried about burn at this stage.
I think you want to have at least 1 removal spell for that Nap tool, but Matt's not got much going on as far as creatures go. He's got a Wild Knacker tool, which is obviously recently drawn. So I think Tyler just wants ways to end the game. Like, if he has a Restoration in hand, that's a removal spell for the Wild Knacker tool. And it's a very powerful removal spell.
So we'll see what Tyler comes out with. Looks like he's reaching for 2 mana Lightning Helix. And now it looks like Matt's coming out with the Flames to the Blood hand.
I think that is definitely the correct play there.
Still loses his Nactyl, however, stops Tyler from gaining the life.
Now, Tyler's got a response to that. Remand.
Now, does that mean he can cast it again straight away?
As long as he's got the mana, he can.
Yeah, like the same Flames.
He needs the remand to resolve, but Tyler's got a second remand.
A second remand. Well, there's a bit of a stack wars for you. And so
I love these complex stack interactions. So
what happens is the Lightning Helix goes on the stack. He casts Flames of the Blood Hand, then the remand turns the Flames of the Blood Hand back to his hand, and before the Lightning Healing resolves, he has priority again to cast the Flames yet again. Is that correct?
That's right. Before anything happens with the stack, there is the opportunity for both players to have priority to add to the stack, and then when both players pass priority, they can the first of the top thing on the stack, which is the most recent thing played, resolves, and then both players have priority again.
So once something is removed from the stack, you have priority again to play something to add,
yes,
if you wish.
Yes, that's the kind of thing we just saw happening right here. It's in practice, it's actually less complicated than it sounds when we describe it, but it's definitely not what you open with when you're teaching someone who's new to play Magic.
I miss damage on the stack. That's what I miss.
I think I've been playing without it, that I've gotten used to it, but that was the hardest thing to get used to when I got back into the game a good few years ago.
Now, we talked a bit too much there, and Tyler came out with a Restoration Angel, blew up both Matt's creatures.